I just want to talk to y'all about trusting the process, essentially. So, I'm on the backs of basically finishing a piece I've been working on. I've started a couple of other ones. And one thing that you will discover in your art journey is the ugly phase, or the this is not going how I wanted it to phase. It's just inevitable. Even the greatest of all creators in any domain, they probably get the same feeling. They feel like, okay, I can see what I want to do with this track, only to discover, like, oh, what the hell is this? This did not come out the way I envisioned it. Something is disconnected, right? And so, guys, I'm going to show you this art piece I've basically finished. It's kind of like, the idea is, bottom of the ocean mixed with space and abstract world. I spent a lot of time on this. It came out really cool. I might add a few more things, but it's basically done, and I'm really happy with it. Most of the time, a finished art piece means happiness for me. It's not to say like I had a vision in mind. I kind of just started with the circles and then just branched the idea into what it became. But a lot of that came from just giving myself to the muse, giving myself to the divine creator, giving myself to the art itself. Removing like that idea of perfectionist where this has to match the vision I had up here. And just this last night, I'm working on another piece, and it's just getting started. Like, this is nowhere close to finish in my head. But as I was painting this, the paint was still wet, and I'm thinking about, like, whoa, this is not exactly going the way I intended, right? So much more I'm going to add to this. And me being through this process enough, I know that this painting is far from over. And it's not ugly. It's going through the process, as all paintings do and will. So I think why I want to make this a point is because we tend to give in to so much negative thought around the things we're creating that we can forget that, hey, this is a part of the process. You're better to act on that idea than to do nothing. But honestly, let's say something happens to this art piece that I worked on last night. Like, it doesn't come to fruition. I don't like it. That's fine. I stayed in practice instead of staying up here in my mind just wondering what was going to come of art as a whole, or however that kind of lands for you guys, right? I think the more in the flow you stay, the better overall your pieces become, the better your art as a whole will be. Over the course of time, I've heard a lot of artists break down essentially this concept of keep going, right? Many things in life, sure, natural talent, maybe somewhat of like a was good at it in my past life rollover kind of situation occurs where you just try to sing a song and it just sounds good immediately. Like, you didn't practice, you didn't like work the vocal cord or like work the muscles to get said ability. You just kind of naturally had it, which can be possible. It's very interesting how interest and skills land on various people, right? However, that's not going to be enough to push you through the ugly phase of any work or creative project you do. There's many different ways to break it down. One I liked was Ed Sheeran's way of kind of describing the creative productivity as essentially like a water faucet, I believe he put it. Like, when you first start the water faucet, it's just pouring out shit water for a while. And what he meant by that is like his first songs were all pretty bad. But the thing was, he was staying in practice to let that water keep flowing, and then from shit water to a little bit of clear for a time, back to shit water, until the thing was all the shit water was out and it was just clear all the time. Sometimes or once in a while there'd get a little bit of discoloration, but most of the time just clear and pure. And that's all because he stayed in the practice. He kept going. He didn't accept like, I'm where I am, I want to keep getting better. That's his whole thing. And that's any artist idea, right? Like no one pursuing art just wants to plateau and stay at the same skill level. I think we want to keep bringing in new tools, trying different mediums, different approaches, different themes and ideas, and incorporating ideas to get just kind of the clash of ideas. To be in the flow state is to allow yourself to make bad art. It's to allow yourself to know that just because you started this all white canvas and it starts not exactly going the way you planned, the paint smudges, there's smears. You started, just the other night when I was painting this one, like the tape situation didn't exactly come out the best. So when I was doing it, I would kind of tape off sections and paint over, just kind of like taped it off and paint the regions. But I did a good job of getting to it quickly, but there was some bleed through. I think I used too much water and it kind of got under the tape and didn't secure it. So there was blue over here, which I just quickly grabbed a paper towel, a little bit wet, and just kind of like rubbed it away. Same thing down here, the black was bleeding through, just kind of, it's still pretty good. Like, to me, there's different quadrants, and again, so much to do with this piece. But in the midst of all that, my momentum, my confidence was lower at that point because it's not going the way I wanted, right? Me knowing that I've been down this road plenty of times, and instead of getting frustrated, it was late at night. Honestly, I had been working on art for a long time. I just decided, look, we'll chuck it up to the night's work. We'll come back and look at it. And immediately, I see tremendous potential in this piece. It's not like I think it's shit or it needs to be painted over or anything like that. I think it's going to be good. I'll show you guys this piece. Let's see, I should set a goal for myself because I'm done with this one. That's the next one I'm working on. I'm going to say next week, Wednesday, I will show you guys this piece completed and hopefully looking good. Also, if it sucks, I'll still show you because look, I told you guys it doesn't matter. If it has to be not the best, is fine with me because I completed it. On to the next. I don't know what people do to kind of get in tune to make sure like they're getting the favor of the art gods, right? But sometimes it just, you don't even try. You're just in the flow. You're not really thinking too much. You got a good playlist going in the background. You're just carving out this art, and then by the time you step back, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Like, something about this piece is so moving. I'm really proud of myself. It looks good. I'm excited what I've turned this into from nothing to something. And then other times you can be super planned out. Like, I'm gonna do this. I have a whole theme. I have this whole color scheme and splits and all this kind of stuff that I want to execute on. And then you don't get the favor of the art gods, and basically everything just kind of just goes bad, essentially. Like, it doesn't stack up the way you planned. It doesn't line up. There's setbacks. You spill the water. You spill paints. Like, this playlist is like irritating you. I mean, a lot of different things can happen, but every day has new energy. I guarantee if you stay in the practice, you will gain the favor of the art gods, and they'll help you make better and better pieces. But not even to put it on just the art gods. This is coming from with you, but there's a little bit of luck, a little bit of mystery to like art itself. I have this piece that me and my girlfriend made, and we weren't even thinking as we made it. We were just putting paint on a canvas. Now, if you ask me, at first I didn't see anything in this piece. It was just like, okay, that was fun. You know, we were kind of sat down on the floor and just like vibing, throwing down some paint, and this was the result, right? But what's a miracle, while I talk about like the uniqueness, the abstraction, I started to see things over time as I was looking at it. And just kind of, I mean, I don't know what you guys see. Maybe pause it right now and tell me what you see in the comments. If you do see anything, I understand maybe you don't see anything. But for me, which was very interesting, and maybe you guys can see if I point it out, but I see a man right here. There's kind of like slits in the eye, a nose. This is a bit of a beard. You can see a mouth right there. A little bit of like hair coming down. I see a kind of like mystical mermaid fairy woman in here, kind of in the throes of like smoke and kind of like just like energy vibrations all around. And I see somewhat of like a Cupid like character or an angel, and then just a lot of kind of like chaos and a couple more people down here. But it's like how did I land on that? There was no intention in, we weren't trying to make that. We weren't trying to make a guy this spiritual girl and this kind of like Cupid with a wolf on its head. Like the more I look at it, the more different things I see. I kind of see a fish coming out of water right here, like one of those ones with the light on its head. I forget what that's called. But quickly enough, I was like, wow, this is a great piece. And I put it on the wall because it moved me, it spoke to me. And also like the fact that me and my girl made it really adds a little bit more depth, adds a little more like sentimental value. And I want y'all to know that your art can do the same exact thing. Maybe it's not your favorite piece, but someone out there, maybe it's exactly what they want. It speaks to them. And I'm all for painting over old canvases you don't like, especially if you don't have more material. I keep that going, but if you put a lot of time and energy into something, maybe someone else would appreciate it. And yeah, guys, just as you are on your journey making art, no matter what you're doing, if it's public speaking, if it's music, if it is art like drawing, painting kind of stuff, just trust yourself in that process. Let yourself be bad at something, and in time you can only get better. You don't work on something more and get worse. You can stay the same by not really putting in much effort. You can get a little rusty, kind of get back to where you were easily, but if you want to excel, you just have to put the time in. It's no grand, crazy secret. It really just comes down to practicing your craft. And in due time, you'll find you're an artist. I was hoping that outro would be a little cooler, but it's all good. Trust that your process will take you to where you want to go. It'll take you to near perfection. And sometimes you can knock it out the park and literally land on the idea that you had. Or should I say, amount to the idea that you had. It just shows up on the paper after a certain amount of time. And if you don't like the piece, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like the song you're making, it's okay. I think the best artists understand that their life is not valued with each instance of said project. This is really just a journal entry into my artistic life and my artistic expression. So they're not all gonna be good, and no one art piece can truly be duplicated. There's something that is so keen to the time and space you are creating something. You're ever changing. Life, the world is spinning around. There's so many things going on that really shape an environment, shape a time, a moment in time. So maybe you were destined to make a bad sketch today, and maybe other days you're destined to make an amazing masterpiece. No matter where you land, if you stay in practice, you will be happy at the outcome at a certain point. And I'm not talking about the outcome of one piece. I'm talking about overall the course of your life, being happy, being content that you stuck with it, you went through the ups and downs, you rushed through the shit water and you got to the clear water, and find yourself like, wow, I'm a fucking powerhouse because I didn't get swayed by the art not going as I had planned. To now I can make a masterpiece like it's nothing. I've put in so much time that I can just make a masterpiece on a napkin and charge you $10,000 like Picasso. I think it was Picasso. Just that story of how he obviously was a insane artist in his lifetime and after his lifetime, but he spent countless hours, tens of thousands of hours painting, and someone asked him to like draw on a napkin, and he actually did it, but he didn't give it back because he's like, this costs 10 grand. If you want this piece, this is 10 grand. She's like, that took you 10 minutes. But it took him tens of thousands of hours to get that good to make an art piece in 10 minutes. Just food for thought, y'all. Stay in the flow. I believe in you guys. I believe in you deeply that you can accomplish your dreams if you just keep practicing.